Okay, everybody. My name is Mike Wilson. Welcome back to Detecting Terrorism in America. Today, we're going to make some progress. I know that with the distractions that we've had with the shootings that occurred in Las Vegas on last Saturday, I know those are those are still with everybody in their heart, and that everyone should be feeling. Sad that something like that could actually occur in the manner that it did. But however, instead of you know, I know that we're mourning people, many people and families are mourning losses, but instead of keeping our heads down about it, we got to keep our heads strong. Okay. Um, First of all, what I want to do is today I want to kind of go through some things and put them in retrospect that way that everyone can kind of pretty much understand what it is um, to engage in a financial transaction that could be considered or perceived uh, as a criminal act should it be becomes repetitious over and over and over and over and over again. Okay, revolution does not support for the same thing that happens over and over and over again. Okay, it's kind of like in psychology, you will learn that there's we have behavioral learning, conditional learning, developmental learning. You have those three types of learnings. Okay, like a human can obtain a one part of something and be able to develop it because our brain allows us to learn. Okay, and we are allowed to go outside of what it is that we're dealing with in order to understand something else about the main thing in general on how to make it work. Behavioral learning would be just pretty much considering the type of movement or response or whether a person is impulsive or anything like those are the things that when you hear the are on the news and that the FBI who normally before they even really engage in an investigation, the first thing they do is they do a behavior analysis, a behavior profile of the perp, okay, or the suspect. And then we have conditional learning. Conditional learnings are what, like, say, for instance, you have a dog. A dog gets used to doing something the same, doing something over and over and over again. Then that's called conditional learning. They get conditioned to doing a certain thing. Okay, so if you have a dog and you get up and uh, grab your keys, then the dog knows it's time to go for the car. Okay, so the dog maybe starts running for the door if you have an inside dog. But if you grab a dog's leash, the dog knows that he's getting ready to go outside. That's what's conditional learning. So he gets ready to go outside. So he goes sit by the door. So those type of three things that what we have to do is consider. Okay, and typically when you study a person's behavior, then you can develop your data or whatever your results. You can develop those results. Okay, and you can understand his behavior by consider what he do conditionally. Okay, so if that normally if someone's getting ready to process a transaction, then or if there is a specific transaction that we want to look at, okay, let's like look at to see what his process, his road of process, his avenue to get there was on all the previous occasions. Okay, you're going to do this by chronologic, by developing and structuring everything in chronological order in which they happen, and so that way that you can develop a valid conclusion and logic on why and what the result was. Okay, so I hope that that wasn't too confusing. But however, these cases that I am referencing, as well as while we still absorb the shock that happened this weekend in Las Vegas, um, we have to consider. You have to always consider, do the math. Okay, math is everything. Okay, there is something that uh, whenever you are getting ready to say, for instance, you're going to go grocery shopping. All right. Well, you know exactly how many people you're going to need to feed for however long you're going to shop for. So if you're going to shop for a whole month, and if your grocery bill for, I know my grocery bill is I guess it's pretty average, but anyway, if you're going to spend about $300 on groceries, then you're going to buy $300 on groceries, and you have that for the whole month. And then, in case something happens, then you have something extra. Uh, so you'll know is that if you're going to go and shop for yourself for the whole month, you're not going to just take $2 to the store. You're going to make sure that you take enough funds to be able to purchase your food and produce for the rest of the month. Okay, so that would make sense. Okay, if I'm going to go to buy food for a whole month, I'm not going to just take $1 or $2 to the store, and because that's not going to get it. Okay, the math is not going to add up right. Okay, um, I mentioned before that I attended DeVry University, which is a technical school. DeVry has a lot of high requirements for math, and so regardless of what uh, subject it is, whether it's arithmetic, algebra, calculus, statistics, trigonometry, physics, statistics. I already said that once. Then you have the other math where you, say for instance, I wasn't a gamer. I wasn't one of those that was in a GSP gaming simulation program. But however, they use a math that's called artificial intelligence, and they use discrete math. Okay, um, in order to figure out the subject that we're going to talk about, which is house flipping, understanding discrete math is what you will be using, um, what the house flipping equation is based on. Okay, discrete math is basically your it's a study of integers, um, is graphs, and integers, graphs, statements of logic. Okay, so those three things, those discrete math. Okay, say for instance there is um, like reason why they use it for GSP. Okay, say for instance they're making a video game, and they've created a character, and they have the character has a certain role that they play. Okay, and they use artificial intelligence to promote that role that they're going to play. Okay, however, now the role that they're playing, they may have a second life as or secret life that no one may know about. Okay, so that's when you got to use discrete math. Okay, and then that's when you got to come up and look at the uh, all those the integers, the graphs, and the statements of logic. Okay, and that will help you kind of determine exactly what this person is up to as far as developing something that's going to, especially if it's going to benefit them. All right. So with that being said, okay, now I have long been talking to people about it's not right to house flip. Okay, and the reason why you shouldn't engage in things like house flipping is because it is a way to fund terrorism. Okay, house flipping is considered to be a monopoly. It's illegal. It's something that we as Americans should engage in. It's something that taxpayer feel the wrath of and comes out of our pocket that we support. Okay, and I'm sure that if we have someone who I don't care if you are a Fortune 500 $1 million man, or if you was someone who didn't make a whole lot of income and working at McDonald's or somewhere, okay, or mopping floors, or picking up trash on the side of the highway, or fixing, or I can't say fixing cars because they mechanics make a lot of money, but however, any other job that have not the best wages, okay, and it's sad that the reason why this equation for house flipping is so profitable is because it is something that is a scam. Okay, and you ever heard the term "all money ain't good money"? Well, guess what? All money is not good money, and when you do things as far as intentionally, it's like an intentional anticipatory breach of a contract. If you or anticipatory breach of a transaction, anticipatory breach of a finance system, okay, of our finance system, is an anticipatory breach of our tax system. Basically, house flipping is illegal, and those who engage in it should know that it's not right. Okay, now before I get into the real details on house flipping, I want to go through and tell you is that whenever someone is making a statement, um, then that statement, you got to figure out how logical that statement is. Okay, and then what's it going to cost me? Okay, why should I be interested? What is it going to cost me? What is it going to make me? What is it what risk am I going to have? What other overhead costs am I going to have in order to engage in it? Okay, so if you've ever been up late at night, I know I'm up late at night quite a bit, because most of the time I'm up late at night, I'm usually reading or writing, or typing on something. Just maybe just doing research. Okay, I spend a lot of my time just doing research because I'm optimistic about a lot of things, and when I'm optimistic, I'm usually quite inquisitive and want to inquire about a lot of things, and that way my uh, uh, actions become, I don't want to say intrusive because that's not the wrong word for it, but I guess you can say it is virtually intrusive if you want to view something. But the things that I view are typically things that the average person can view. If they have the desire and the, I guess, want to find out. Okay, anything you really want to find out these days, you can really find out. Okay, so now, you ever been up on late at night and you seen these guys on TV, Van Merrill, Armando Montalvo? Okay, those are even Carlton Sheets. There is another real estate mogul that I'm not going to really say, but let's just say that let's just say I just give it just because so I can have four, um, because the equation is going to need at least four people first. Okay, so let's just say his name is Orange Man. All right, so um, now if Orange Man is, let's just say he is the one with the big idea. He is the one who's motivated. He wants the money. He wants to get out there and see how many properties he can get, how many people he can move in, how many people he can move out. Okay, so now, you ever wonder when you see these like night the infomercials that Montalvo and Merrill Van would be producing. Well, you ever see them walking up to an empty house and they got the ladders all out front, they got plywood all over the yard, and one or two guys walking around with a hammer, and the other one's about breaking the yard and cutting the yard, whatever it is. Okay, well, uh, those are props. Of course, we all know that. Okay, but you ever wonder what happened to the people that used to live in those houses? Okay, guess what? Those people more than likely was engaged in a house flip, which is what's become also common here in modern day and time. A house flip, okay, say for instance, I have a house and I want to flip this house. All right. Well, normally, in order, way our financial system set up is that if you're engaged in a business, okay, say for instance from January, February, March, April, okay, so that's 4 months, okay, and there are 12 months in the year, right? So you divide that by three, so you have three sets of 4 months. All right, so we have Fan, we have Montalvo, we have Carlton, and we have Orange Bed up here. All right, and now I want to make it even more realistic for you because I know there's a lot of people out there that have actually heard of this company. There's a company by the name of Amway. Some of them may call it Scamway. That's what I used to call it, Scamway. When I was in my when I first entered the Marine Corps, I was always one of those who I wanted to learn everything. It doesn't matter what it was. I wanted to know. I wanted to know. Okay, what are you doing, and why are you doing that? I was always one to ask questions. Um, well, however, they every now and then we would have someone come to the base and ask. Hey, you want to make a lot of money? You get put out that. If we make $500 such and such in a day, I haven't did anything, and that's if we're going to do it for the rest of our life, and we get it for all these times. That well, how are you going to do all that, dude? When you ain't going to be doing nothing? Okay, so I so you volunteer, you say, okay, yeah, dude, yeah, I'll go and see what it's all about. I know everyone's something at least there's you've been at least one. If you're a person who is interested in making money, I'm sure at one point in time that you've gotten involved with or came in contact with someone who wanted to show you this great secret on how they can make you all this money. Okay, and so you go to this meeting. So okay, so I go to this meeting, and then I'm listening to this guy talk, and I'm like, okay, I really don't see how you're gonna do all this with or with just by getting three people, okay, and so I watched it the first time, and I didn't. I said, well, I don't know. And so then I thought about it. I said, nah. And then so they said, okay, well, you want to go again? I said, sure, let me go again. So this time I'm like really paying attention. Now, I've been basically one of those who have been one to kind of calculate things on a I don't know if it would be called an abnormal level, but someone who wants to engineer something. If you want to be an engineer, you're going to have to know how to make sure that everything jives. Okay, your managerial skills is going to have to be on point. It's going to have to be the one. Your mathematical skills are going to have to be sharp. They need to be accurate. They needs to be profitable one, and then they need to be also conservative in order for you to make any money, for anyone to make any money. That's by doing simple math. But however, the equation here is that downstreaming, okay, and if you remember Senator Clinton doing the presidential debate talking about trumped up trickle down, okay, all right, well, trickle down. Okay, let's trickle it down. All right. So let's say now let's go back to our little equation. And I want to throw this in there too also. Every time we would go to this meeting, we always have this guy who stands up there in front of is nothing but a blank chalkboard up there, and the first thing he says, he comes up there like he's like you really don't know what he's gonna say. Like, let's see. Then he says, "You go get 3 people." Okay, so he wants you to go get 3 people. So 3 people, why? Okay, so he draws this little circle up at the top, and he goes 1, 2, 3. All right. So bang, the 1, 2, 3 is going which way? Like a pyramid. Okay, pyramid scheme. All right. So you get Orange Man gets 3 people. His 3 people are Van, Merrill, and Carlton. And then Van to go get 3 people. Montalvo get 3 people, and Carlton go gets 3 people. So now you have how many? You have 9, another 3, and another one at the top. Okay, so when when the center, when the first 3 people come down, they're going to start their own little branch. So everybody is going to start the little branch. So that means that Montalvo would get a percentage of his 3 people, and Carlton will get a percentage of his 3 people, and Montalvo will get a percentage of his 3 people, and Orange Man is going to get a percentage of Van, Montalvo, and Carlton's 3 people. That's called residual income. Okay, there is a way. All right, so if you have in your downline, okay, and you once you way at the top, or the higher the top you are, the more complicated it is to get to you, right? It's very complicated. But however, whenever you have a paper mill and it is not complicated to get to you, okay, if you have accurate accounting, okay. So now we have each one of them. Everybody's getting 3 people. Everybody's getting 3 people. Okay. So the the equation goes is that during the month of, let's see, it'll be from December, January, February, March. From December, January, February, March. All right. Uh, then Montalvo's business is going to go. He's going to go over here to Fan's business. And Fan is going to go over here to Carlton's business. And Carlton is going to go over here to Montalvo's business. So for every 4 months, 3 times a year, these businesses that are operating as a monopoly are switching businesses. Okay. But when they switch on the way out, they're not going to pay anything. They're not going to pay any taxes or on everything that they earn from December, January, February, March, April. They're not gonna claim taxes on any of that the first month. Okay. For the first 4 years. They're not going to do it the second 4 years. They're not going to do it the third 4 years. Okay. So what they're going to do is they're going to claim losses from contracts for that 4 month period. They're going to claim rebuilding. They're going to claim amounts, income lost from their employers. They're going to claim just whatever other replacement costs. Okay, just figure out any 4 costs. You can name it anything. Okay, but as long as you have 4, okay, and there's got to be losses. All right, so now you're gonna have to have investment. Okay, so investment, you're gonna have to invest into restructuring, rebuilding, re-advertising, or renegotiating contracts. Okay, so you have 4 investments. So they take the investment money and then they this guy over here, he walks right out of this business where everything is default and walks right into a new business where this is a clean slate. All right, and on top of that, he's already got some leverage from people who invest. And if he doesn't have any leverage from people who invest, he's still going to profit. Okay, but the Moral of the story is, okay, they switch businesses every April, August, and December. They claim losses on their way out, and then they have a clean slate on the way in, and claim that they had all these investments, and then at the end of the year, they're going to get the healthiest return ever. That's how they do it, and they have been doing that way for years. Okay, now say for instance, you have a some people are bolder with it. Some people don't even have properties. Okay. And some people are just taking a tax form and filling it in and just using it as a numbers game. There's nothing there. Okay. Ask them to show you where they generate this cash from. They can't. Okay. There's tax forms that can be obtained serve profit of nonprofit organizations that are identical to the other organizations' tax forms. And the only thing that only has changed is just the name, the address, and the FEIN number and signature. Okay, and everything else is identical. Okay, so we're going to get into. I'm going to have a program where we're going to place them side by side. So we'll have a split screen, and then I'll have another document on there. That way, that we can go through them one by one. Okay, and that way you can see what it is I'm talking about. Okay, it's a tax fraud. Okay, these are businesses, as you may recall, during the uh, presidential debate, particularly the first one, when the not Senator Clinton, but her opponent was saying every time he opened his mouth, he was like, are we just going to start a business? We're going to start a business. We're going to start a business. Yeah, they can start a business in a drop of a hat. Okay, these companies, and an example I'm going to use is the company that I'm engaged in lawsuits in, because those are the companies that are their company documentation has been collected and fully examined, and so therefore I know that this is going to be valid. Okay, and you will see that some of these businesses from 2007 went from claiming income for uh, $5 and $6 million and jumped to 66 and 70, $80 million in the next year. That's when this equation came about. So if you recall a article that was posted on um, during the latter end of August and September, where Senator McCain was saying that he's very interested to know on how they made their money in 2008. Yes, so am I, and I'm sure that the documentation that has been provided to or brought the attention that's been brought to these type of bilking uh, agencies and people who are going to get in big trouble. You are going to get in big trouble. I tell you, it's trouble. And you should get in trouble, because that's not right. Because not only do some of these people not have property, okay, that which you know what, I would feel better if you didn't have property and just did it through a paperwork shuffle. Okay, but don't have property and do it to someone who's staying there. Why would you do that? Why would a property owner go through there and kick a whole family out of their house and play a game with them just because you want to seem like it's legit? That's not right. You are morally incorrect and morally improper if you are one of the ones that do that. And the ones that do that, I wish you everything that you got coming to you. And because at the end of the day, that's people that I know to this day right now who have lost everything over and over and over and over again. When you downstream them in that way, and you put them in a position where they got to start all over and then go and claim that they owe you thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars when they don't. They don't owe you that. You violated their rights. You violate the state law. You didn't pay your taxes. You still have businesses from 10 years ago that you didn't pay taxes on, and now here you go over here. You want to claim that this person over here who's barely bringing in or profiting or have income left over for maybe a couple $100 a month, and you want to sit and say that they owe you $5,000 and $6,000? No, how dare you? Before they ever go buy a house or even be able to get a decent apartment, they got to pay this idiot over here who just play the game, and which was an intentionatory breach of a contract and profited money. That is not right. You are the lowest, dirtiest scum that I know. And the reason why I'm telling you this, because I saw you do it. And with that, I'm going to let my pressure go down a little bit. So I'm going to stop, and then we'll get back and talk to this equation a little bit later.